ever. But he has some flaws. Definitely, that people can talk about. But I think that it's up to us to hold him accountable. I think that we're better off, than what we have right now. So that's the thing. But no matter who runs, we have to hold them accountable to make sure that whatever policies that they do have are good for us as Black people.
Right. That's what I wanted to know. Do you know what some of Joe Biden's policies are, or what Kamala Harris, what their policies are, what they stand say for. They're gonna do?
Well, some of the things that they want to do is take some of the things that other Democrats have put in place and then make it actually stronger and better, like with health care. That's some of the things. We already have universal health care, but they want to make that a little bit stronger and better and protect that. So, in other words, trying to make sure that even more people have access to it, that the plans that you get are even better. There's been some talk about Medicaid for all and Medicare for all for seniors and things like that. So those are some of the things they're looking at. In terms of the economy, some of the tax policies, they don't agree with the tax policies that we have now. We're paying too much in taxes, where the ultra rich people don't pay any. People that work every day are actually paying more taxes. So they're looking at that. And they also, in terms of,
I'm sure you probably know that when you go back home and come back,
of promoting this white supremacy and all that stuff that's going on now. They're looking at, obviously trying to bring some civility back to the country. Yeah, I know it's a tough one, right?
That's what I was gonna say, because dealing with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Joe Biden specifically is one of the reasons why there's a lot of, Joe Biden is the one who helped pass the crime bill.
I know, that's what I was saying. He has some flaws.
Under the Clinton administration?
Yes, that's why I said he has some flaws. He has some things that he needs to make amends for, and she has some things to make amends for.
Because Kamala Harris, she, and I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but I had to ask about this because, and the reason why, and you heard how I started off actually.
Exactly.
And I kept it real. I said, do you believe in the policies, or are you just kind of doing it for a job? Because I remember when I was doing going around doing the voter thing, they pay you to go out and talk to people. Hey, you want to vote this year? Getting people vote. Now, I was just doing it for a hustle, just put $1 in my pocket. I don't care about this voting and all that.
Nobody's paying me to.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's paying me nothing.
You know what I'm saying? But I really looked into the quote unquote policies and also a little bit of the background. The fraud this woman is pulling. She's trying to call herself Black. She's not even Black.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
She's actually Indian.
I know.
In the East Indian and all that. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna tell you this. I actually initially wanted to see either Karen Bass or Wyandanch actually be chosen, but neither one of them were chosen. They are African American women who don't just have the skin color, but they have the background of Americans and all of that and things like that. Plus the fact that, like I said, she has some flaws as a prosecutor. A lot of people, Black men, went to jail and all that, but she wasn't chosen. So they weren't chosen, neither one of them, and I liked them. I thought they were great, would have made great vice presidential candidates. So we are working with what we have. I think that she is really, really smart. What's your first name again? Messiah. Okay. So I think that she's really smart, and she has good capabilities, good qualifications, but she has some flaws, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, like her lying about being in college and smoking weed, listening to Snoop Dogg and Tupac. Okay.
I didn't hear that one. I heard about the smoking weed thing.
Yeah, but her facts were wrong because she went to college. She graduated college in '87.
You want to write this? You're not the voting kind of guy? Jehovah's Witness?
Huh?
Jehovah's Witness. I said you Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, yeah, Jehovah's Witness.
No? Okay.
I think she's going to do it.
Oh, okay. All right. You take care now.
Yeah. And you know, with Joe Biden, he along with Hillary Clinton was calling us super predators. You know what I'm saying? And basically, with that crime bill and all of that, that basically like kind of made it where, you know, they were just looking at us as that. And it's still in the mentality of the law enforcement. You know what I mean? Because the presidents after that just made it
I ain't
worse
want y'all
and
to
worse
see
and worse
that.
and all of that.
I didn't want y'all to see that. He just beat on my older cousin, female.
Oh, your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody hit somebody.
He beat her up. So she just came over and told me he ripped out her shirt, had her shirt ripped up and everything. She had to tie it up. I said, don't worry, I'm gonna catch him. When I catch him, I'm gonna see him. He's right there selling over there.
So you ain't see it?
Man, yo, you have to do your due justice. So I'm sorry, I ain't
Alright, we was just wondering, we're like, what's jumping off
Nah,
over
I
there?
jumped on my older cousin. Now I gotta go over there and see if she alright right now.
That's crazy.
But yeah, you know, I'll look into the policy stuff. Now, and another thing is too, right? See, like, the Democratic Party, right? They got a lot of black, you know, quote unquote black people thinking that the Democrats are for us. And I'm like, I'm looking at the history. And
Let's say the two equals. That's basically it.
I just want to give you another perspective.
Right.
I learned that black people actually started the Republican Party.
They started, but they
started the Republican Party.
We were Republicans first.
I'm trying to let you know that we actually started the Republican Party. And
how you doing?
What took place was the Democratic Party was formed, and the Democrats, they started the KKK. And what they did was they used the KKK to start forcing black Republicans to start voting Democrat. And, you know, they was basically telling them, listen, we're going to kill your family, we're going to burn down your buildings, your houses and all of that. You know, basically forcing them and using all of this terrorism to basically force blacks into voting Democrat. And that's how historically blacks began to vote democratically. You know what I mean? But initially we began the Republican Party.
But we were Republicans, yes, because of Lincoln.
Even before then, you know, there were 8 quote unquote melanated presidents before George Washington, and the most previous before George Washington was a man, John Hanson. This is the man that's on the back of the $2 bill. If you look on the back of the $2 bill, you see all them Masons sitting there in their chairs, and you see the man with the white gloves on. That, and he has dark skin too. You look on the back of the $2 bill. That's John Hanson. John Hanson was a Islamic Masonic Moor, and he was the one who was the mind or one of the major writers behind the Articles of Confederation. Yeah, because that's what they went to before the Constitution came into play. That's true. So, and he was actually governing the United States under that Article of Confederation before Washington came in, and he was the one that inaugurated Washington into office. And that's why when you hear that expression of George Washington chopping down the cherry tree, that was symbolic or Masonic language, which denotes the fact that he went outside the White House and he took down the Moorish flag, which was the red flag with the green star, symbolic of a cherry tree. And when he took down that flag, he put up the American rag, which was the colonistic flag with the 13 stars representing the 13 colonies of that time. And he basically replaced the Moorish Masonic Islamic order, and he replaced it with a Eurocentric, basically took over. Basically said, okay, I'm in office now. I don't need you now anymore, nigga. And kind of did his own thing now. You know what I'm saying? But so us knowing that history. And now, when it came to Barack Obama, only one thing I could give Barack Obama credit for doing, that I know of, is that he kind of re-ratified or reassigned the the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, which would give so-called black people in which the term black is not a nationality, it's more of a social terminology, which we replace for a nationality. It would give us an ability to declare a nationality for ourselves, and then be considered a nation among nations. You know what I'm saying? Like even with what Malcolm X was doing. And before him, Noble Drew Ali, you know what I'm saying? He taught us that we were Moorish Americans. Malcolm X came and gave us the identity, teaching us that we were Afro-American. You know what I'm saying? He said, call yourself Afro-American. Now, Jesse Jackson tried to ride the bandwagon and flip it up on some African-American. But African-American is not specific enough, because I can show you now what's called the SF 181 form, which is the standard form 181. And on that form, and it's the same part of that form they put on a job application. You know, when they actually put your ethnicity on a job application, the title of that form is called the ethnicity and race identification form. Yeah. And not to hold y'all too long, but I just want to give y'all some information on this. Bill with y'all about this. Interesting. It basically defines Asians.
I'm trying to see, like I've seen you before somewhere. Does your mom work for the town? Did she work for the town? Somewhere. Okay.
But what was I saying? It defines Asians, Native Americans, whites, so-called Caucasians, as all of them as original peoples. And then when it defines whites, it says, all of these people have origins in any of the original peoples of these different lands. Then when it comes to blacks, it says blacks or African Americans. It says having origins in any of the racial black groups of Africa, and that's it. And I'm like, it don't even define black people as original people. Although we know we are the original people, it don't even defines all these other people as original people. And then when it comes to us, it says a person having origins in any of the racial black groups of Africa. And I'm like, first of all, what the hell is a racial black group? You know what I'm saying? And then according to that definition, does that go to say that I could just jump off a boat anywhere in Africa and be like, hey, you guys are a racial black group? Oh, I'm one of you. Hey, you gotta accept me. I'm one of y'all, according to what this form says. And it's like, they're gonna be like, who the hell is you? Like, they're gonna look at me like, you gotta jump your ass back on that boat and go back over there where you came from. So they don't know who the hell I am. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that right there is not specific, and it does not put us in the fold of nationality. So then when it comes to things like now with the science of voting, I think that we should be more politically aware. Yes. But also one thing that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, for that matter, has really failed to educate the general public about is the fact of electoral colleges.
Well, that's a big issue.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what they don't tell us about.
Is that, Trump can win the popular vote or lose the popular vote and still win the election.
Now, understand why he's suspending the post office now.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying? Listen, I know what he's doing, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but I understand. Because, the way he see it is like, y'all not about to mess up my re-election talking about some mail-in votes. Man, he already know that shit is bogus.
The Republicans been doing mail-in votes. That's been doing it forever. It's just that now he wants to say, because it's his election. I mean, it's on the shady side. But he's gonna do whatever he feels like doing.
I mean, the reason why I say I'm not mad is because I understand that he has the whole deep state, which is not only the Democratic Party, some of the even Republicans is down with it too. You know what I'm saying? But he has the whole deep state, which is the shadow government that's working against him. And it's like he's like one man going against the world. So I'm just saying. And also I've looked up. Hold on. I was about to go to that. I've looked up the legislation, like the policies that's been passed through his administration. He passed mad policies, mad legislations, like going back from.
That don't benefit
Hold
us.
on, no, they do. Some of them do. Some of them do. Some of them do. And I'll tell you which ones. Like for example, he passed a legislation which basically let people out of jail for the non-violent offenses. You know how many of our people is locked up in them jails for offenses
Yeah, but when Obama
that
was
shouldn't
there,
even.
I know this for a fact.
Obama didn't do nothing.
He did a lot. No,
Obama didn't do
because I
nothing.
know because I was
There's
involved
not
in
one
it.
legislation I
know
can say Obama did,
because
except
I know,
for that
No, because I know
signing on the Declaration of
I know
Rights of
because
Indigenous People.
I was involved. The group, the lawyers group that I'm involved in, they worked on actually getting people, sentences commuted. He let a lot of people out. A lot of people out of jail, commuted their sentences, and pardoned people. All that kind of stuff. He did a lot
Yeah,
of
but like,
that.
who did he pardon?
A lot.
Who did he pardon?
Everyday
Did he
people.
pardon Mamiya?
Everyday
Did he
people.
pardon any of our Black Panthers who are still held as political prisoners?
Everyday people. They're people that
he
submitted
didn't-
applications.
He didn't pardon anybody important that meant anything to us. You know, nobody that I know of. I mean,
But they're people. They're black people that look like us.
yeah, that probably did some bullshit and probably deserve to be in there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. The reason why I mention like people like political prisoners because these are people that we should actually be riding for. Like for example, if you ask me, this whole George Floyd thing, the alleged murder, and I'm gonna say alleged because there's a lot of video footage that's missing, and I've seen some of that video footage that they didn't show on TV. And there's a lot of time where he's not even cuffed, but they're just sitting, the cop is just sitting there with his knees, with his hands in his pockets. And he wasn't even cuffed at this point. So you mean to tell me as a 6 foot something black man, strong black man, you could have pushed up and got that cop off you. You could have squirmed, squiggled, wiggled, did something to get out of that situation. So it's just like, but anyway, that right there, it was a planned murder. And after that, the protests after that were also planned. And they planned all of this to send this country into a civil unrest.
That could be true.
And just like Trump is pointing out right now, all of these democratic cities or states that are allowing these so-called protesters to keep burning shit down and causing all of this drama. Like you've never seen this ever in history. Like right now, if black people started fighting or doing some whatever shit right now, police run down on niggas, lock niggas up. Simple, just like that. But since it's a protest and it's under Black Lives Matter, all of a sudden police are acting all sensitive and like, oh, well, fuck out of here. This shit is planned because, for one, it's like, even if they're protesters, right? They say peaceful protesters, right? Protests have guidelines. When you even do a protest, you got to go down to the town hall. You got to get your permit and all of that, and everybody got to sign up, and everybody's going to participate in the protest. And they got rules they got to follow. If they violate these rules, protests get shut down. So, how many of these rules are they out there? Are they out there violating? Which are many of the rules. So it's like if the police are not coming down and shutting it down, coming out and shutting it down, then they're obviously sitting back and allowing it to happen. So now my thing is like I understand this, right? A lot of this, this whole government is Freemasonic. So what the Freemasons believe is from chaos comes order.
Yeah.
And what they're allowing to happen right now is a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
And when the chaos happens and they destroy everything and they tear down the city and everything is in order, peace. And all the government is out of order, peace.
See your whole country?
They're gonna have to restore order. And when they when they restore the order, it's gonna be.
I'm tired of living like this. You gotta go behind it. I'm tired of it. You have to provide. No, I'm like,
after they cause all the chaos, they're gonna have to restore order, but it's gonna be a new world order. You know what I'm saying? So really, that's what they're doing right now.
Got burnt down to Amazon, so this everybody died.
They setting the stage for a new world order. You know what I'm saying? And they're allowing the people to come out here and cause all this started out, so then they can turn around and blame it on the people, and they could be like, and they can say, well, we're not just gonna go out here and force y'all to do all of this. We're gonna allow y'all to tear shit down, and then we're gonna come in and act like we need to do something. You know what I'm saying? So then when they
had a Trump parade. See how why you were not there?
Word.
Everybody had their Trump sign on their cars. Trump.
What, today? It was out there earlier? Oh, word.
Like 2 hours ago.
Oh, wow. Ain't that something? But yeah, so but going back to this mail thing, right? Trump ain't trying to let them mess up his re-election with this whole mail thing, because they can just make up anything and say, oh, the numbers were this and that and da da da, and then they're gonna try to cheat him out of his election. So he's gonna suspend that, and also that's why they suspended
he's gonna cheat anyway himself, so it doesn't. He's gonna cheat himself because he can.
The stimulus money. He suspended, and the corona money, they suspended it. Reason why, he's going to tell you, okay, look, I wanna reissue the money, but I got to get back in office so that I can keep this going, and da-da-da. And now, people want that money. They don't give a fuck what Joe Biden's talking about. People going to want that money. So they're going to be like, you know what, in order for us to get that money again, we got to re-elect Trump. And he shut down the post office, so he ain't going to get cheated out of shit. So basically, Trump is about to get office. I was like, not, you know what I'm saying?
The thing about it is that again, because of the electoral college, that's the other thing too. I mean, the popular vote, he's not going to win that. But the thing about it is that it's the electoral college that people have to really look at. He's not going to win a popular vote, just like Hillary didn't win it, but she didn't win the election.
So that's the thing, man. Because her damn child molesting pedophile ass. She'd be down with the pedophile rings and all of that. Hillary Clinton. Look up. George Epstein, everybody killed Jeffrey Epstein? Because he was about to reveal all the information about them secret, what they call Pizzagate parties they've been having. You know what I'm saying? Where they was doing child molestations and child sacrifices and shit like that. They got that laptop that got destroyed, and those 30,000 emails that Hillary Clinton tried to erase. That shit had all that evidence of all that satanic all shit they was doing, all that pedophile shit they was doing. They had it all on record, so she was about to go down for that shit. So then she acid washed all those emails. You know what I'm saying? But they still had evidence of some of the stuff that was on that laptop, which is still under investigation. And now, the reason why the Democrats is hating on Trump, because Trump got a lot of these people under indictment. There's been over 150,000 sealed indictments that went out since like 2017. So a lot of these celebrities, a lot of these politicians, a lot of these people are under indictment right now. That's why they hating on Trump. It ain't because it's politics. It ain't because he's racist. And on that note right there, y'all, let me remind y'all, all the presidents were racist, including Obama.
Black people can't be racist.
No, he was what you call
they can be discriminatory,
a self-hating racist because he hated on his own people. And remember again, Obama was half black. Y'all remember he still had that white side, and he definitely catered more to the white side than he did the black side. There's not one thing I can say he did, except for that declaration thing. That's the only thing that I know.
There's a lot of white people that benefited, I'll just say it that way, from his presidency.
Right. And I don't see how he benefited, because after 8 years, police brutality was at an all-time high under his administration. Unemployment for blacks was all-time high.
Founded on racism, slavery, and oppression. This country is founded on it, and it's deeply rooted. So it's going to take a while to root it out, and that's why there's so much conflict right now, because this country is based on that. White privilege has been in effect for hundreds and hundreds of years. Just being able to do something just because you can, just because you're white, just because it's deep rooted. So that's the issue. So having a black president for 8 years, which is just a small snippet in terms of history, that's like this much time. It's going to take a while for things to change because it's so ingrained in the culture here, And if you look at history, it tells you that a lot of founding fathers, they owned slaves. The Constitution, in terms of based on counting people, counting slaves. And if you think that you know.
See, because Lincoln, but people
If you
Lincoln
think
did.
that you know
Lincoln
how
did.
ingrained it is, the more that you read, the more that you research it, you'll find out more. Because I mean, all of us think that we know how bad slavery was and how much ingrained it is in the culture, and you don't really know. The more you read one, every day you find out how much this country really depended on, how much we really built. Without slavery, this country wouldn't exist at all. At all.
And that's the social, political, economic structure of this country.
Yeah.
To keep so-called blacks on the bottom of the totem
Yes,
pole,
absolutely.
while all these other foreigners come over here, they open up stores, and we stay the consumers and never the buyers. Remember how Tyrese said in Baby Boy? He said, "What you gonna be, a seller or a buyer?" You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Yo, I'm gonna be a seller." Because he realized, like, yo, this is commerce. Everything is moving around you. Why we keep spending our money, then our money goes outside our community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Black
And-
Chamber.
At the chamber, yeah. And somebody just emailed me about this national platform. that
Dr.
he's
Claude
trying to do with the
Anderson.
black businesses, black businesses.
You know about Dr. Claude Anderson?
Yeah, I know about Dr. Claude Anderson.
That's the man right there.
Yeah. And you know what Dr. Claude Anderson said? He said on the Breakfast Club that there's two races of Americans living in America today that are not considered immigrants. And that's the slaves, because we were brought over here against our will, and the Native Americans.
How you doing?
But like you said, even them too. Oh, what's up, my brother?
What's up, baby?
How you doing?
good.
You moved from Nassau to the...
Yeah,
Oh,
better pension.
I hear you.
When I'm ready to go out the door, it's more money.
Yeah. Yo, it's good to see you, man.
Sit down, man.
Alright. Yeah, so like, you know, but still, even those two races are still like at the bottom of the economic totem pole. Like you said. Yeah.
And I'm like, now, Trump, I would say, Trump, he's done things. The employment for blacks is risen since he's been in office. You know what I'm saying? Now we know this Corona shit hit us and all of that too. You know what I'm saying? He, like I say, he passed the bill to get black people out of jail. He passed a whole bunch of other stuff pertaining to that thing. And what I'm trying to say is, as far as what the perspective I've been given on Trump and what I see is that he's come in and he hasn't necessarily bothered the shitting on us as a people, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Even every time he even speaks of the black community, he speaks, you know, very positively of the black community. I've never heard him say some shit like Joe Biden has said. Calling us super predators. He said some shit that you heard. He's like, it doesn't matter how they ended up like that. Like, you know how you talk about our oppression in this country, he basically said that shit don't matter. It doesn't matter how they ended up this way. What we know is we have to deal with them.
I said, no, he shouldn't have said that. That was
He's like, oh, we have to deal with them. And da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yo, for real? So basically, he's on that same shit that Giuliani was on. Lock these niggas up. I don't give a fuck. We got to get rid of these niggas. We got to do something with these savages. You know what I'm saying? As they see us. And, you know, so, but, you know, now it's crazy, too, now with this Black Lives Matter thing. Because I'm like, until I researched, I mean, even a little before, but I researched the Black Lives Matter movement, and I went on their website and I typed in the what we believe, Black Lives Matter, what we believe, and you see what they actually promote. They're promoting homosexuality, transgenderism.
That's what some people are saying. I don't believe that everybody is. But no, I've heard people say that.
That's what I'm saying. All you gotta do is type in Black Lives
No,
Matter.
I've heard that people say that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you actually just go do that, and I would advise that you do so, because you sound like educated sister, you sound like educated brother. I sound like I just tell you are.
Yeah.
So I know that y'all not just gonna take anything on face value. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna actually,
I've heard that a lot.
research into it. Yeah, and that's what they're promoting. And not only that, they're promoting the whole thing that the white feminist movement did, was to erase the black male as the head of the household.
Yeah.
Same thing the social service system did.
Yeah.
Get that black man out of the home.
We was talking
And
about that last night, how Tyler, and that all started with how, like, Tyler, you know Tyler Perry? He has a lot of TV shows where there's a white man with a black woman.
Yeah.
Promoting that interracial shit.
Yeah.
And even that movie for colored girls.
Yeah.
He tried to show, like, you know, maybe you should date outside your race, how the black, when she ended up with the Spanish guy at the end or whatever. And I'm like, no. Whoa, no, was it that, or was it the I can do bad by myself.
Yeah, I can do
bad by myself. Yeah. And I'm like, and
you're
then
like,
that's only for colored girls. I'm like, yo, every dude in that movie turned out to be messed up. Even the brother I thought was gonna be good, the one that had the suit on, and the girl he was going with the girl that was speaking the Spanish, and he was gonna take out dance and all that. I thought he was gonna gets in the damn thing and breaks it. I'm like, come on, bro. Like I was rooting for you, man. I was like, we had one good brother in the movie, and then he turns around. I'm like,
I know.
God damn. So I'm like, that movie just kind of really played us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ain't gonna hold y'all forever though. But listen, I appreciate the conversation.
Messiah?
Always, yes sir.
All right.
Yes sir.
All right. Yeah, I know you study the math. I see the symbol. I recognize that. Yeah. He's with the 5%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Self-awareness.
That's it. Knowledge of self.
That's right, now it's power. Well, if you live here in Wyandanch, I hope to see you come out and support
Yeah.
us.
Come on and vote. Yo, come on and vote. We can, hell, we can
I mean, I
probably
know
even get y'all to
y'all
come.
know who I'm voting for. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but it's
We're running for the library. Library board of trustees. Right down there.
nah, but it's good to see people out here doing something for the community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because without that, it's like, what do we have? We can't sit back and let all the white people control all the politics.
I know.
Because if we do, then we just slaves.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
You're absolutely
And
right.
and one of my biggest things when it comes to politics, like if we're gonna play the game of politics, we gotta know that we gotta come with some money.
That's true.
We gotta come with
But
some
the
money.
thing about it is, it's so hard to fundraise in our community. Like you ask people for it, like you're having a fundraiser
But you
for
know what?
$5. It's not even just okay. Some people have, some people don't. But it is an education and it's a cultural reorientation in terms of knowing, like you just said that. Because people would ask me, "Are you going to run for office again? Run for office again?" And I was like, it takes a lot of money, a lot of reason, a lot of time. And the thing about it is, people, when you walk in that ballot and see the person's name, some people don't understand what goes into that. Like, the name just didn't show up, when you walk in the booth or walked in, they had to fundraise, they had to go door to door, they had to mail things, they had to spend money to print up flyers and all that.
And all that, right?
So,
Footwork, you know what I'm saying?
that's the thing.
All that grassroots.
Yeah.
You know what I also start advising is trying to reach out to these rich actors and athletes and rappers, because they the ones who actually have a responsibility to their community as well, because we support them. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't make it big if we don't listen to their music, we don't buy their CDs, and we don't promote them and talk about them and big them up.
Some of them are involved in the campaign on a larger scale.
So I would say a lot of the funding should come from them, and to move us ahead, because a lot of times we come to these politicians with morals and emotions. They don't have a moral compass, nor do they care about our emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You need
So
to stop being so
when we
emotional.
come,
It's like, okay, what are you gonna do?
right,
And
come with that
me
money
personally,
and a demand.
and me personally, when it comes to, there's a lot of racism out here on Long Island, as we know. We're not gonna change people's minds, but if you're gonna deny me an opportunity because of it, then we have a problem, because that's the law. How you feel when you get home, it is what it is. But if you're gonna deny me a job, or you're gonna treat me differently from my coworkers, or you're gonna try to arrest me and lock me up, or won't serve me at a restaurant, because then we have a problem, because that's actually illegal. How you feel about black people is not. But some of those other things, yes. So that's what's important. We have to focus on that as opposed to what people think.
I saw something on Facebook, and they said that all politicians are going to do this. All the way from Kimberly Jean Pierre, Wayne Gregory, all of them. They're going to calm us down. They're going to hear us out. And they're going to do nothing and to repeat the same process over and over and over. That's all they're going to do.
Right.
That's why I say when I seen Trump in that office, regardless if we like him personally as a person, he has been doing a lot of legislation that's been kind of making his country remold itself in a new way. And the whole "Make America Great Again" slogan, it wasn't necessarily a racist slogan. We took it that way because we seen him out there with like these white supremacist people and all that. But understand this: as president, we got to put ourselves in his shoes for a second, just for 1 second. just look at the moves he has to make. He gotta appease them. Don't you know these white supremacist motherfuckers are the ones that run the fucking government? They are the politicians. They are the three-piece suit wearing motherfuckers. But on the weekends, they go to their lodge meetings and their KKK meetings and hey brother and do their handshakes.
The thing about it is that he's he's overtly with it. The thing about it is that he's overtly with it. We know that there's always been discrimination from for hundreds of years, and each president has to parlay to people that not necessarily on our side totally, but there's still a balance you have to have somewhat and a line that you have to walk. Not like, you know what, he's like stopped short of just saying that it's okay for people to walk around with hoods and torches, tiki torches, talking about Jews and blacks and other places. He stopped short of just saying that. There is a balance you do have to have, and other people that have struck that balance a little bit more in terms of being overt about it. That's the thing about it. No, we're not going to obliterate racism, and he didn't, and Trump didn't invent it, but he doesn't follow any kind of protocol of any kind. And then on top of that, he's very overtly one-sided to his base, and he's not the president of his base. He's the president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? President of the United States. President of the United States.
It's a corporation.
But not the president, not just the president of Trump's base.
The people.
So that's the thing. That's the problem.
Well, one thing we gotta remember too, that America, United States of America is a corporation and not necessarily a country. It's been facading as a country for a long time, but after they took this from the native people, it became a corporation. So now the president is only acting as a CEO of the corporation. You know what I mean? And he has to do all the politics, the balance, the economics, and this, that, and the third, and yada, yada, yada. So for example, let's deal with this coronavirus thing for example. And even before that, right? This is what I acknowledge about Trump. For one, he funded his own campaign. So he works for them, but he doesn't work for them per se. Like economically, there's no strings where they can say, well, we funded you, so we need you to do this, that, and third.
Every day.
But he is the president.
You know why?
So
because he's been able to profit off the presidency. Every time he sends his daughter and his son-in-law, who are not qualified to do much of anything other than be his relatives, right, over the countries, they make these trademark deals. They for her company, for his company, and they make these deals with people like China, whatever they call, I forget what they call it, where they get the visas in exchange for those trademarks. Whenever he has a secret service that stay in his hotels and they pay him, and there's countless other examples. So, and he could say, oh yeah, I'm independent. Well, okay, you're independent because you didn't get any money from you use your own money to campaign, but how are you profiting off the presidency and then stockpiling that money for when you get out?
I'm glad you said that, because that's where I was going. That's where I was going. And the next thing I was going to say is that he turned down the presidential salary, so he's not even getting paid for his job. So look at that.
If there's more money, if there's more money in the trademark and the other things, the licensing deals, and all the other things you're doing.
No president has ever, that I know of, has ever turned down the presidential salary and funded his own campaign. So in one sense, that just goes to make me see that he might actually care about this country. I mean, he just might actually care.
Yeah, no.
Regardless of the Democrats trying to tell us he's a racist, which was only a distraction. Yeah, of course, yes. And let me tell you.
And if you don't want people looking into your finances, and if you don't want people looking at your tax returns, you say, don't pay me. I don't want nothing. I didn't take anything from the government. So this way, you don't want to show your tax returns. Guess what? You're like, because I didn't take anything. So, like I said, he's slick. Just like he didn't pay his, just like he claims, oh yeah, I'm using the bankruptcy code, it's legal, whatever. He would have people doing work for him and then turn around, not pay him, then file bankruptcy, and then you have to pay people. That's called slick. That's called beating people out of their money. That's what that's called. So for him, he thinks it's a shrewd business move, but that's just called taking advantage of people. That's what it's called. And so for him, yeah, you don't want to take a salary. Why? Because his sons, who still own the company, his daughter, who has her own company, they're all making money off of. He has a golf course in Scotland. all over the world. They're still doing licensing deals all over the world and trademark.
See, what we gotta understand about Trump and every other president is that presidents are what you call sovereigns. So they have abilities that the average people don't have. Like they would be considered what's called in some senses like a private citizen. Basically meaning like they're in their own jurisdiction. They're not necessarily of the jurisdiction of the United States or under their jurisdiction. They're kind of like what you call like diplomatic, having like diplomatic immunity and stuff like that. So there's a lot of international laws that there's a lot of state laws that they can break and then go and hide under international laws. Like for example, you know, Tom Hanks, he just got accused of that pedophile shit and he moved over to Greece and got accepted as a citizen in Greece. Tom Hanks, because he was another one that was on that Jeffrey Epstein flight law, where they was having those Pizzagate parties and all that. Yeah, there's a big pedophile, human trafficking, child trafficking ring going on, and a lot of these actors, politicians, entertainers and stuff like that, a lot of them is involved in that, and a lot of them are under indictments right now. That's why you got a lot of people that are talking bad against Trump and that, because he the one that came in and put them under that shit. Like, yo, we gotta clean. I didn't say drain the swamp. He actually coming in and cleaning shit up. and being that he's actually trying to do something, they mad at him. That's why they wanted to impeach him too. Why they want to impeach him? Because he indicted all of these motherfuckers. And now they're like, oh, we got to get him out of here. No, he's fucking it up. And you hear the Democrats now on TV, they always talk about, we have to maintain our democracy. That's because Trump came in and put this government back in order. When we was in school and we stood for the flag, what did we say? To the republic for which it stands. It never said to the democracy, because the democracy does not exist. Fight is kept. The Democratic Party was created to give so-called black people the illusion that they have a part in the political process by voting. But like I mentioned earlier, they never taught us about electoral colleges, which basically means they vote over the popular vote, so our votes don't even count. So it's a fraud, it's a sham.
They do to a degree.
It's all a sham.
The electoral college has a lot of power.
The debates every year, like right now how they about to do this debate stuff, this is the show. Yeah. This is the big show every 4 years. Oh, come on, y'all, Joe Biden, I don't believe what he says. Oh, I don't believe what Trump says. Oh, this, that. And they ping pong, and they ping pong the people's minds. And then at the end we be like, well, I think he sounded better. I think he sounded better. Oh, I'll go for this one. I'll go for that. And it's all a game. They already know who's gonna win. They already got it all planned and mapped out. They got the whole 8 to 16 to 24 next year planned out already. So it's like,
but anyways, nice talking to you. I gotta run.
Peace.
All right, all right.
Peace, y'all.
All right.
Y'all be out here next week or so another time?
Yeah.
All right. Come through and chop it up with y'all. I'm gonna bring some more stats too. I'm gonna print out some info for y'all.
All right.
All right. Peace, y'all. Yes, sir. Always. Peace. But yeah, we over there chopping up that politics, man. You know what I mean? The word, I'm like, from my perspective, like I see like what Trump has done with this whole like Corona thing. See, they try to blame everything on Trump, so then they can make it seem like, oh, he's doing this wrong, he's doing this wrong, and da. But meanwhile, we're not seeing what he's actually doing, the power move that he's actually making. Now, she mentioned about the storing up the money and all of that. Congratulations. About storing the money and all of that, and I'm like, yo, you gotta keep what he's doing, and he's on his king shit. You know what I'm saying? Like for one, he knows like this country's at war internationally with this whole Corona shit because the elites are basically killing the fucking people. They depopulating the planet with all of this Corona shit and all that, and all these people dying. I mean, they killing people, man. So what he did was he basically told everybody from the jump, this shit is fake. There is no real virus. Everybody, what are you talking about? People are dying. But you know, he's trying to say as much as he could without getting assassinated at the same time. We gotta also remember that too. Presidents can get assassinated. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like niggas can't say the wrong thing. You'd be like, hold up, wait a minute, this nigga too far. Bomb. Like, come on, on, look what happened to Kennedy. Look what happened to, Malcolm. Look what happened to Martin. All these different people, you know what I mean? So, for speaking out, they truth. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we know it could definitely happen. You know what I'm saying? So, like, now they try to flip it like, oh, Trump is wrong. Trump didn't do this. He didn't do that. We told him to close the borders. He didn't. No, first of all, Trump was the first one that closed the fucking borders. They was like, no, it's okay. It's going to be all right. We don't really get it serious. That's serious. Yeah, because I wanted this shit to fucking spread. Then when he finally does do it, oh, so he's racist. He's closed. He's built a wall. He wants to keep out the immigrants. Nigga, it's if it ain't one thing, it's another. You know what I'm saying? And everybody will keep shifting this and that and everything. So anyway, one, look at it from this perspective. America now, regardless of the corona shit, America, you understand? You said the bill about war, right? Was that war with Canada? Canada? Or southern border, Mexico, and that's it. That's the only war that they won. I thought somebody got See, and the reason why the Democrats ain't want the wall to be built, because all the Democrats are doing is using these people to come in to give them so-called citizenship and then use them for votes. For cheap labor and for votes. And they try to enroll all of these Hispanic people into the political process while they got them out here. They say, oh yeah, vote. And you see all these Spanish candidates coming up and da-da-da-da. Because they're getting them into the whole game. And they basically trying to replace niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like basically they said, we don't need y'all niggas no more. We got a new field of niggas. We got the Spanish niggas now. Spanish speaking niggas now. So now we good with y'all. They just get them here, like you say, cheap labor and shit too. And then gas them up with the political shit and make them feel like, yeah, they're making changes in the country. See, the niggas are lazy. They don't want to do this and that, and they think they really doing something. I'm at 6 in the morning like an iced tea. Stay critical, the next fight. Obviously, you can't see it, like I said, if you watch the tell line business, all damn day with the tell line business, making us think this way and that way. In our fault. You know, all these governors trying to speak out against the president. Should we do that? Now we know motherfucking Bush was a straight tyrant. You know what I'm saying? But niggas wasn't saying shit about motherfucking Trump, Bush. Because Bush laid down that iron law, that iron fist. You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't have shit to say about motherfuckers. Niggas might disappear talking about Bush. You know, niggas ain't want to say that. Now Trump is in the office, they just think, oh, he's just a business guy, he's not, you know what I'm saying? They just want to Trump like something nobody to, worry about. Many times, in many different ways, that he's more gangster than a lot of these niggas, man. Like right after that shit popped off with the Nazi Guard high winning, they was in DC or somewhere, whatever the hell he was holding the Bible or whatever, and he went to this like sacred place or some shit or whatever, he held the Bible upside down. That was symbolic, man. All of that shit was symbolic, right? You know what I'm saying? He was telling them that basically he was telling the Pope and he was telling the religious authorities that basically I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't scared to be out here. Like, I'm good in my hood type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good. You know what I'm saying? Got some shit pop off, you expect niggas to be hiding. Like, nah, he was walking around like, it's good. He ain't had that many Secret Service niggas on him. Just like, enough. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was good. Like, I'm out here. Like, so anyway. But yeah, but oh yeah. With this corona shit. Okay. Stay. They about to roll up and shit, so. Uh-huh. Like, it was good, man. I was waiting for Shorty to look up. Like, it was good. I'm sure you know, big ass titties about, man. Man. Anyway, he pulled the funding from the World Health Organization. It's $450 billion. And then people want to wonder why he got so much money to pass around with this corona shit. And yeah, he did the fucking country a favor. He said, why people from the World Health Organization, all they can do is go forward with their plans of making a fucking deadly vaccine that's going to even kill us even further on top of this corona shit. No,
I'm not, that's what I mean. You taking that vaccine?
I might have to be on the road, like doing some off the radar type shit, because they might try to make this shit mandatory. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. Because you know how they say that you seen that movie, Invasion. That's how you pronounce it, Invasion. And he was like, yeah, you really think about it, the vaccine. You don't know what that vaccine can give you. It can give you cancer, it can give you this, it can do that. All the time. You said you don't know what this vaccine is going to do. Like that. That's the next fucking move, bro. They probably figuring out how we're going to play this shit out right now. They probably already have the vaccine, a so-called vaccine, give it to people. I'm like, these motherfuckers really got out this fucking disease. If they don't do it, they put it in the movie, bro. I'm going to tell you about it. What the fuck they really do, man. And sometimes, that's why I don't come to get it shot. No, because when I was working at Nassau University Medical Center, sometimes I could listen. Sometimes when you look, they can have a conspiracy. Sometimes the words that they speak don't be right to direct. They don't be right to direct. Back in the day, you hear, oh, they're going to all put cells in us, put a chip in us. Oh, you're going to hear about this talk. Time went on. Some people say, oh, it never happened, but it did. You know how it happened? With the phone. Each and everybody, motherfucker, I guarantee you got a phone. Probably two. And then with the credit card. Yeah, with the credit card and your ID. You understand what I'm saying, bro? So they can easily track that shit.
And now you know what they're doing? Now everybody's wearing mask shit now. When you go into all these stores, they doing retina scanning, eye scanning. They're recording our eyes, getting all that shit. You know, so now that's how you're gonna recognize us through our eyes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is they're doing a lot of things. I'm like, man, you know, are you telling me excuse me? You brothers want ankle weights? I guess we'll wait till I'm giving them away.
Oh, no, I
Want some ankle weights?
really can't. I don't need them. They're too heavy. I got those. I was giving mine away too. I didn't want them. Just going to leave it with it.
Right. Easy. Yeah, I really don't need them.
All right, no problem. We're just going to leave them.
I got some of those that I'm just trying to get away. The old stuff. Just like that too. Yeah, but what you were saying there?
But so now with the World Health shit, right? So he took that money now. That's why he's spreading that around. And also too, for the next year that he's in, he basically cut off his association with the World Health Organization and the CDC, because they're the same ones that was giving us all this bogus information. Lock your hands, keep your mask on, corona type shit. You know what I'm saying? And they was the ones that was actually keeping the shit going. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the shit, going on. So he was like, nah, I see what y'all trying to do. You know what I'm saying? We already see they wicked plans, so he cut them off. And then also, business-wise, he was trying to introduce that hydrochloroquine stuff or whatever, which is not exactly holistic, but it's way 10 times better than that shit that Bill Gates introduced before she did. You know what I'm saying? And now, as far as that vaccine they're making, and they're still working on the shit, because they're going to try to, they get control of the government and the deep state takes over, and they try to get Trump out of office or assassinate him or do whatever they try to do to get in. Wait another 4 years before they implement their plan. Trump is still going to have another 4 years to do it. Like I said, he's kind of he's getting to that. That's why this whole Joe Biden guy, another 4 years. He always been trying to keep black people turning against all kinds of races. Like I said, all the what the fuck is racism matter as far as, him being talked. Not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm saying like, like you gonna find a white man that's not racist, or one they're gonna put in that position that's not racist. At least a little bit, like come on, man. Like of course, I don't care about that. I'm not worried about that because I'm not gonna allow that to be a distraction from the larger picture of things. So whatever fucking. Oh You gotta get your ticket, right? Yeah, I would say, I might just go to the main better. Okay. Shoot back home later, whatever.